Hello guys, and welcome to Natalie's Reptile Room. Boy, do we have an exciting one for you today.
And it is my little girl.
Her little girl. So I know how much you've been waiting, but ever since we have started this channel, Natalie has been patiently waiting week after week to show you guys her favorite little girl.
Here you go, baby. Wanna wide? Go wide out.
So this here is Rose. Rose is a western hognose snake. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Rose?
So she has a very, very pretty pattern.
A very pretty pattern. Yes, she does.
And she has a brown, over her eyes, but it is not. It kind of looks like a bruise, but it's not a bruise at all.
It's like a cool contrast of dark brown and tan. So is this your favorite snake that we have, or is this your favorite reptile out of all the reptiles we have?
She is my favorite snake that all we have.
She is the best out of all of them. But I think one of the biggest reasons Natalie loves her so much, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you do everything for her.
Yeah.
You give her water, you clean her cage, you feed her, you do everything for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to a great beginner snake or a great beginner reptile in general, I don't think anything beats a hognose snake. I mean, she is absolutely awesome, isn't she? Now, as great of a snake hognose snakes are, there's definitely a few things you're going to have to keep in mind. One of which is they're venomous.
Yeah.
However, it is an incredibly mild venom. The venom is pretty much harmless to mammals, and I think the worst ever documented case was like a 19-year-old kid got bit by one, and it swelled up a little bit, and he got like a red rash. But I think that was the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
No one has ever died from a hognose snake.
No. When you keep it fingers closed, she goes through them, she pokes her head out and goes through.
She pokes that cute little face out, right?
And then her whole body just goes through.
Right. Now, one other thing to keep in mind about their venom is that they're rear fang venomous, which on its own doesn't make a venomous snake any less dangerous. The boom sling is rear fang venomous, and they're very dangerous. However, for a hognose snake to even envenomate you, not only do they have to bite you, they have to gnaw on you to the point that they get those rear fangs into you. And even then, envenomating you is entirely harmless, unlike the boom sling, right?
Yeah.
Now, another great thing about hognose snakes is biting isn't usually their go-to.
No.
They've got a couple tricks up their sleeve that they'll go to first. Number one is they like to bluff. She will huff and puff and try to blow the whole house down, right?
Yeah.
But never does anything. And she puffs her cheeks out, which makes her look more cute than anything.
Yeah. She's like, don't mess with me. I'll puff your whole
I'll
house.
pop you.
I'll puff your whole house down.
Puff the whole house down. Now, the other thing that they'll do is what we feel hognose snakes are probably most famous for, is what do they like to do?
They do. Oh,
They play
dead.
dead.
Daddy, maybe we should let her on the table.
Let her roam around there a little bit.
Yeah.
But they play dead, and they are very good actors. They'll throw their little tongue out, go belly up, and it's end of story for them. They're done.
She's coming up to my hand.
On their belly, it is like all black with a couple checkered spots in between. And I mean, that color of like black and yellow, I mean, it looks like a dead animal when they flip over.
Here you go, baby.
Now, one of the only common issues that we sometimes hear about hognose snakes is that they can be picky eaters. And a snake that won't eat can be very stressful for a snake owner, right?
Yeah.
That would be really sad not to see her eat.
Yeah.
So hopefully out of the next few things that we go over, we'll minimize that. However, I mean, there's still snakes that if you do everything 100% right, you can still get a snake that just won't eat. So female hognose snakes, like this little girl right here, right?
Yeah.
Females will get a little bit bigger than males. They'll get about 2.5 to 3 feet, while males will get about 1.5 to 2 feet. So I mean, when it comes to a starting snake or a kid-friendly snake, that's like the perfect size, right?
Yeah.
She's perfect size for you.
Yeah.
Now, not becoming that big of a snake, she's not going to need that big of an enclosure, right?
Yeah, not that big.
Definitely not as big as like the Nile monitors, a 10-foot cage. She's not going to need anything like that, right? Or a whole room.
No.
No.
She just needs like this big of a tank.
Bigger than that. We would still suggest something at least like 4 feet long. That way
Well,
to give
they
them
need like this big of a tank.
bigger than that.
Like,
Something at least 4 feet. And they're not an arboreal species, so they don't need really height and things to climb one. Now, although they're not arboreal, they are burrowers. They like to burrow in the ground. I would say Rose likes to spend like 60% of her time underground, right?
yeah.
The other 40 is like when she comes up to eat. And as far as burrowing, what is the first thing you see on her that you would think she likes to burrow in the ground?
Probably really cute.
Cute? That's one thing. Well, that's kind of the thing, is that she's got that shovel nose, right?
Yeah.
And that helps her dig and move around underground, right?
Yeah. And it just
Plus makes her a lot cuter too, right?
Yeah, and it just loves a little cheeks when she like puffs and she puffed her cheeks
She
out.
huffs and puffs. It
Yes.
does make her look pretty cute. So more important than stuff that they can climb on, you definitely need to give them something that they can dig through. These are snakes that will do perfectly fine with like your non-moisture holding substrates like aspen. I know most of the reptiles we've talked about so far, humidity is key with them. You don't need all that much humidity with them, so making sure that it's something that they can burrow through is just as important, right?
Yeah.
Now, as far as heating and lighting, they're going to need a basking spot of anywhere of like 90 to 95 degrees. They should have a hot side and a cool side, as the cool side tapers down to between like 80 and 85, with nighttime temperatures of like 70 to 75. They also aren't going to need UVB lighting.
Yeah.
They're also not an aquatic species, so she's not really a swimmer, is she?
No.
She doesn't swim that much.
No.
So you're not going to need like a huge water bowl, but you're still going to need something that they can at least drink from. And that's where we usually find her, right? Like coiled up under the ground under a water bowl. And finally, on to diet. So frozen thawed rodents should be their main source of food. Juveniles will eat anywhere between 7 and 10 days, while full adults will eat more between 10 and 14 days. Now, just a recommendation that we could make is if you can get one that is already on frozen thawed, we'd highly recommend it. Getting her to go from live to frozen thawed has been a little difficult, right?
Yeah.
Still working on it.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so that does it for Natalie's favorite reptile of all time, the hognose snake,
Yep.
Little Rose.
Yeah.
So if you guys found this video enjoyable or if you found it informative, make sure to leave us a like and make sure to subscribe, because next week we're doing, we can't say it, but we're moving back to lizards, right?
Yeah.
Moving back to lizards.
And she is the cutest little roll.
Oh, your hognose snake?
Yeah.
She is adorable.
Yeah, I just love her paddling.
Yeah, they're cool. Alright guys, well we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.